If it were 2016 and we were still pretending that politics worked the way they were supposed to, then yes, she would be making all the right decisions. But we are past that, and we need Sarah McBride to rise to the occasion and fight for us. Otherwise, why is she here? Congresswoman Sarah McBride is the nation's highest-ranking openly transgender elected official and the first openly transgender member of the United States Congress. And this is a big deal. I mean, we were all stoked that she got elected, especially considering the current state of anti-trans politics. It felt like we finally had someone in a position of power to represent and fight for our community. But a lot of trans folks are feeling disappointed with how she's chosen to take a lukewarm approach to trans politics, and with how she's been handling the transphobia that she's been receiving from her colleagues. So today we're going to talk about what's been going on with Sarah McBride and why many trans people are worried she might be letting the community down. Since being elected, Sarah McBride has faced a lot of transphobia, as you can imagine, and not just from the public, but also her own colleagues. Other elected officials who are behaving like children, throwing hissy fits. They cannot stand that they share a space in a job title with a trans woman, so they bully her. They misgender her. They refer to her as a man. They use the wrong pronouns.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Delaware, Mr. McBride, for 5 minutes.
I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Sarah McBride doesn't get a say in this. This is a biological man trying to force himself into women's spaces, and I'm not going to tolerate it.
And not just with their speech, but with their policies, they attack her directly. Nancy Mace introduced a bill aimed at McBride to ban trans women from women's spaces on federal property.
This effort in response to Congresswoman McBride's coming to Congress?
Yes, and absolutely, and then some. I'm not going to stand for a man, if someone with a penis is in the women's locker room, that's not okay.
And separate from that bill, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson issued a trans ban throughout the Capitol complex, saying that single-sex spaces are reserved for people of that biological sex. And in an interview said this.
For anybody who doesn't know my well-established record on this issue, let me be unequivocally clear. A man is a man, and a woman is a woman, and a man cannot become a woman.
Which all the transphobes took as a win. They perceive that as, hey, in the eyes of our workplace, Sarah McBride is a man. So not only are they justified in referring to her as such, but emboldened in their transphobia to continue making these hateful and unnecessary digs at her. I mean, from the outside, this is clearly a f***ed up situation. She's been segregated and isolated at her place of work. They've made rules directly targeting her. They openly mock and misgender her. It sucks. It also gives Sarah McBride a perfect opportunity to fight for trans rights. To say this is the unfair treatment that trans people all over the country are receiving just for being trans, and it needs to stop. But instead, she put out a statement saying, "I'm not here to fight about bathrooms." She wants to focus on real issues. And I do get where she's coming from. Like, she doesn't want to come off as the triggered trans liberal. She's trying to be the bigger person and let everyone's actions speak for themselves. She's not taking the bait. She's not letting the haters win, which is respectable. She's a politician. Optics are important. Obviously, we don't want her up there freaking the fuck out over everything. But there's a line. It is so far the other way that she's repeatedly conceding to transphobia. She's straight up getting publicly bullied by elected officials. And instead of making an example out of them, she's saying we need to just go with it and keep the peace so we can talk about issues that are actually important. As a trans man, I find these issues important. And it kind of feels like she's telling me that if I want the privilege of participating and existing in society, that I need to do it on the terms of people like Nancy Mace.
Tranny. I don't really care.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
But she did recently have a very refreshing little clapback moment when she got misgendered.
I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
However, the truly refreshing exchange came from another Dem, Bill Keating, who actually stepped up and defended her.
Mr. Chairman, could you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, we have set the standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply...
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman? Would you repeat what you just said when you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America? Please.
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order. Mr. Chairman, have you no decency? I've come to know you a little bit, but this is not decent.
We will continue this
You
hearing.
will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned.
I mean, look at how quickly Keith Self crumbled when confronted.
Yes, we have...
Just stumbling over his words and then ending the meeting.
This hearing is adjourned.
What a snowflake. But then he went on Twitter to defend himself, saying it is the policy of the United States to recognize two sexes, male and female. Like, all right, man, honestly, that's embarrassing. Just take the L. Now, it can often feel like we are living in two different realities based on which way we lean politically. I find it pretty baffling to see genuine takes from people who view Keith Self as a victim in this situation, but the truth is that it takes active effort to look outside of our bubbles, and it's only by doing that that we can see where the disconnect is coming from. Thanks to our sponsor Ground News, we can see how both sides cover this story and how differently it is being portrayed by various news sources. Right-leaning coverage of this story focuses on how emotional and unruly the Democrats are. They're blowing up, they're lashing out, they're breaking down. The Daily Caller says Dem Rep flips out when GOP chairman refers to trans female member as Mr. But left-leaning articles frame it the other way. Democracy Now! Says Republican Congressman misgenders Rep. Sarah McBride in transphobic attack. We Got This Covered says Republican Keith Self takes up the right's transphobic torch with Mr. McBride outburst. The divisiveness of trans topics could not be more apparent. That's why Ground News is so important right now. Their website and app gathers articles from around the world so we can easily compare coverage and get the full story. It also provides crucial context on a given source like political bias, factuality rating, and who owns them. Right now, Ground News is offering my viewers 40% off the unlimited access Vantage plan, the same one that I use. All you have to do is click the link below or go to groundnews.com/Turner. Now, I'm sure this isn't the last time Congresswoman McBride will have to deal with transphobia from her colleagues, but with seeing how they immediately fold under pressure, hopefully McBride and other Dems will continue to give it back to them, because while I totally respect her wanting to remain unbothered and letting them look like assholes, it really sucks seeing them get away with being so disrespectful and cruel.
My responsibility is not to any other community that I'm a part of other than the community that is the state of Delaware.
Now, the other issue trans folks are having with Sarah McBride is her approach to trans politics. Specifically, some recent statements she made about how the Democratic Party should be handling trans issues. Sarah McBride says Democrats should be more open to opponents of trans rights. Which I'm sorry, how many Dems can you think of off the top of your head who have made trans rights their platform? Show me the Dems that are dying on this hill. Because from what I've seen, the vast majority of them will not even touch this topic, and very few of them are actually taking a pro-trans stance, including Sarah McBride, apparently. But her main point here is that if Democrats want to advance as a party and win elections, they need to not be so focused on protecting trans people, specifically when it comes to the issue of sports, which I think has a lot of folks wondering, who the fuck are you talking about? Like, countless Dems have openly stated that they do not support trans people in sports. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, the state that Republicans collectively hate for being too woke, platformed far-right influencer Charlie Kirk on his podcast.
The transgender garbage is making America a dangerous place.
And agreed with him that trans women have an unfair advantage in sports.
Would you say no men in female sports?
Well, I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you on that. It's deeply unfair.
Would you speak out against this young man, A.B. Hernandez? I can see you wrestling with it.
No, I'm not wrestling. I'm not wrestling with the fairness issue. I totally agree with you.
So where is this pro-trans boogeyman that is causing the downfall of the Democratic Party? Because I haven't seen it. I would like to see it. I've heard a lot about it from the right, but I haven't seen it myself. And just the idea that Dems need to concede on certain trans rights issues in order to unify, it just doesn't make sense. When the other side is completely unified on all fronts because they worship their god King Trump, and whatever he tells them to think, they will do the mental gymnastics to agree. He says losing money is good, everyone loves that he's crashing the stock market. Like when he says trans bad, boom, trans bad across the board. Like in an ideal world, yes, we could separate the issue of sports from trans rights as a whole and address it in a nuanced way to find complex solutions that makes everything fair for everyone. But Diva, look around you. I fear this might not be the ideal world. The other side is literally doing fascism, girly. Like, these issues should not be black and white, but they are. And we are not the ones that erased the gray area. When they said 2-year-olds shouldn't have sex change operations, and we all agreed, yeah, obviously. And now they're banning trans healthcare for adults. Oops, I thought there was an ocean of gray area in there. Apparently not. And this is the same thing. They want to find a weak point and put cracks in the dam to erode support for trans rights. So when you sit there as a trans woman and give so much power to the complete non-issue that is trans sports, you are effectively throwing the community under the bus when you should be fighting for us. NCAA says out of the over 500,000 athletes, less than 10 of them are trans. 10. That is less than a third of the number of felonies our president has been convicted of. Why are you even entertaining this? Reel it in. A trans girl could go on hormone blockers and not get the physical advantage from male puberty, but we've banned those. So now she's forced to go through the wrong puberty, and then she gets punished for it by also being banned from sports. Now she's further excluded and alienated from her peers. So why are we pretending that it's not all connected? That we have the luxury of gray areas and complexities when they have taken that away from us. Reel it in. Reel it in. And I'm not saying that the Democratic Party needs to make trans sports a staple issue, but I do think they need to make trans rights an issue that they will say they support, because right now we have one side that has made it an issue that they very much do not support. They're very openly against it, and the other side is kind of sorta, sometimes. We can have a conversation about it, and maybe we can reach across the aisle and see eye to eye and have a well-meaning debate. No, we're past that. They don't do that. That's not real anymore. The both sides are valid and we need to respect everyone's opinion approach is not what we need right now. We are so far past pretending that trans people are human beings that deserve equal rights and trans people are mentally ill predators that need to be eradicated from society are equally valid opinions that can be debated. You want to come off as level-headed, you want to appeal to them by conceding to transphobia, you want to debate trans issues in good faith as if they'll hear you out. I get the impulse, I respect the hopefulness, but we are not living in that world anymore. If it were 2016 and we were still pretending that politics worked the way they were supposed to, then yes, she would be making all the right decisions. But we are past that, and we need Sarah McBride to rise to the occasion and fight for us. Otherwise, why is she here? Sarah McBride, this is for you. The only thing you can do to gain their acceptance is detransition. So unless you plan on doing that, get your head in the game. Please. We believe in you. You can do it. There's still time, but you gotta lock in. Please. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Pick yourself up some trans rights merch over on skeletiturner.com. Don't forget to subscribe to join the Goose Troop today. Give this video a thumbs up because one like equals one honk. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.